Hey everyone, Kyle Walker here. If you love cars, fixing things, or just want to understand your vehicle better, you're in the right place. I share hands-on tips, smart driving advice, and straight-up car talk without the fluff. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stick around till the end. You don't want to miss what's coming up. Let's get into it.
Any car owner wants to give his car a certain individuality, to stand out from the general flow and just a little decoration. Significantly change the visual perception of the whole car can refine the wheels. Not everyone can afford to buy a set of high-quality and exquisite discs. Others, simply for reasons of economy or because of the lack of a clear need to spend on discs, use ordinary hubcaps. Car hubcaps are considered inexpensive, simple, and quite effective way to change the appearance of the vehicle. But these products come in different colors, which should be taken into account when choosing a set. Why use hubcaps? If the car does not have beautiful wheel rims, you can make changes with the help of hubcaps, which will cover the design of an ordinary, unremarkable disc. They belong to the decorative accessories, and therefore their primary task is to improve the appearance of the car. But you should not perceive the hubcaps solely as a decoration or ornament. Also in this accessory is a certain protective function. With the help of hubcaps, it is possible to prevent negative impact on discs, brake pads, drums, and so on. After all, when driving there flies a large amount of large debris, rubble, stones, gravel. In addition, it is possible to note the function of partial prevention of road dust and sand on brake discs. Thus, it is possible to prolong the service life of the brake system. By using caps that cover the discs, you can protect them from damage from side impacts, hitting the curb, or other road obstacles. The hubcap may crack and deform, but it will not damage the much more expensive element of the wheel. As a result, we can distinguish several main functions of wheel covers, an element of decoration and external change of the appearance of the car, protection of rims against dirt and dust, protection against stones, rubble, and gravel flying towards the wheel rim, ability to absorb side impacts, preventing damage to the disc. With all their capabilities, hubcaps cost buyers a fairly small amount. It is many times inferior to the price for a set of new discs with a beautiful pattern that does not require additional decoration. Varieties and classification. Each motorist decides for himself which hubcaps on the wheels of his car will look better and which look not very favorable. But it is not necessary to start purely from the external features of the elements. To make a really correct choice of hubcaps on the wheels of your vehicle, it is recommended to study their varieties, classification, strengths and weaknesses of all the proposed options. There are several classification principles that allow you to divide hubcaps into the appropriate categories. If we start from the design, then all hubcaps are divided into closed and open. Depending on the materials used, plastic and metal products are distinguished. There is a classification by shape, providing a division into convex and flat products. Taking into account the external design, the elements are divided into colored, decorative, and chrome-plated. They are also differentiated by the type of fastening used. There is a bolt connection and the use of latches. In addition, hinges and clamps can be used. The most popular and widespread are considered plastic products, which have displaced the once popular metal analogs from the market. The latter are still used, but very rarely. Choosing between open and closed hoods, you need to take into account some points. Open products have large ventilation holes, which will additionally cool the brakes and decorate the wheels, the discs of which are painted in a dark color. But if the discs have defects, traces of corrosion and rust, then it is better to refuse from open hubcaps, giving preference to closed ones. Closed ones can be completely solid or with small ventilation holes. Their advantages include good protection from dirt, but in parallel they sometimes interfere with the normal ventilation of brake pads. But they are able to cover defects of wheels. They are more convenient when washing, have smoother lines, due to which dirt does not accumulate in them. The choice between convex and flat products is a matter of personal taste. Flush designs fit closely to the wheel rim without protruding beyond it. This means you don't have to worry about driving close to curbs. It is extremely important that the element is held as tightly as possible, not flying off when hitting a bump. If we talk about which hubcaps on car wheels are better in this regard, then here the obvious advantage is on the side of products on bolts. Snaps often fly off, which makes drivers stop and return for the lost decor. And sometimes the hubcap is lost on the way, and then you have to buy a new set. Advantages and disadvantages. To more objectively study the features of each type of car hubcaps, you need to look at their strengths and weaknesses. This will allow you to get closer to the answer to the question of choosing the best products specifically for your car. Let's start with open-type hubcaps. They have the following key advantages: effective cooling of brake discs, brake ventilation, protection against overheating, design. Diversity, products in different styles and designs. At the same time, there are weaknesses manifested in the following. Do not provide disc protection from moisture, dust, and small road debris. Are not able to conceal damage on the rims. Are only suitable for wheels without visible defects. Next up for consideration are the closed hubcaps. Here highlight a few more advantages. Namely, reliable protection from water, dirt, and debris, protection against corrosion and rust, protection from premature wear, ability to hide external defects of discs, easy washing, easy self-cleaning of dirt, external diversity, wide range of products. But at the same time, it should be taken into account that closed caps are extremely poorly ventilated and dissipate heat from the brakes. Therefore, there is a risk of overheating if the brakes are used too intensively. Read also, the right choice of brush for cleaning the car from snow. Choosing hubcaps made of metal, you will get high mechanical strength, resistance to impact and damage, quality connection with the help of bolts. But the disadvantages in number outweigh the advantages. The main disadvantages in the case of metal caps are impressive weight, poor resistance to corrosion and the appearance of rust, deformation under strong impacts, loss of shape, high price. If we talk about plastic analogs, which replace metal products, their main disadvantage is called a short service life. But the list of advantages of plastic caps is quite impressive. Low price, variety of assortment, ease of manufacture, low weight, resistance to rust and corrosion, elasticity, ability to regain shape, sufficiently high level of durability. Also on sale are often found chrome-plated hubcaps for car wheels. With an extremely attractive appearance, the coating itself after a relatively short period of operation begins to come off. As a result, they will have to be replaced. Colored hubcaps can be chosen directly under the color of the body of your vehicle or play on the contrast of colors. They have the same advantages as hubcaps made of the same material as colored products. To keep the color, you will have to carefully care for the hubcaps. Last but not least in demand are decorative caps. They have such advantages: the opportunity to realize bold design ideas, adaptation to individual requests, original drawings, and decorations that distinguish the wheels from the general background. The possibility of using movable designs with a strobe effect. With all their objective advantages, usually such designer decorative hubcaps are more expensive than others. But here the motorist understands exactly what he is overpaying for. Recommendations on the choice. Having studied all the existing varieties of wheel decor elements, covering the discs, and also having understood their strengths and weaknesses, you can reflect on how to choose the right hubcaps for the wheels of your car. In reality, selecting such sets is quite simple. It is important that the products you choose fully meet the requirements in terms of appearance, as well as fit the size of the wheels of the vehicle. Therefore, before you choose the hubcaps and install them on the wheels, it is not superfluous to double-check the size of the tires. Otherwise, incorrectly selected sets will have to return to the seller, which is not always very easy. The buyer, choosing a set of decorative hubcaps, must first know the minimum information about the wheels themselves, which are installed on the car. The first thing to start with is the size. Everyone knows that tires are available in different sizes and radii, measured in inches. Depending on the specific size, tires are labeled R13, R14, R15, etc. If you have 15-inch wheels, the hubcaps are also chosen with the corresponding marking R15. It is impossible to accurately and objectively say which wheel covers are the best, and why some products are better or worse than others. Although definitely not in priority now metal sets. They weigh a lot, are expensive, and do not differ from the desired practicality, unlike plastic analogs. Having determined the size, go to the design features. In the absence of visible defects on the wheel rims, it will be logical to choose open hubcaps. They look as spectacular as possible against the background of black discs, on which there are no traces of damage. Plus, open sets are more diverse in terms of design solutions. Here are used various complex and simple patterns, which look equally favorable on the car with a competent choice. If you have open-type hubcaps with a rather bold and aggressive appearance, they will look favorably on a sporty-type vehicle, or with external features characteristic of sports cars. But in combination with some family car or urban hatchback will not be particularly attractive result. Buying a set of products on a classic sedan or station wagon, give preference to a less pronounced design and smooth lines. Aggression and too bright patterns for cars without sporty features will be objectively superfluous. With unpainted discs, or in the presence of noticeable defects, you better bypass open types of hubcaps, choosing a suitable option among closed designs. Do not forget that a big role in buying quality hubcaps plays the material from which they were made. It is not enough to know whether plastic or metal was used. Metal-based products are not particularly popular, and there are a number of objective explanations for this. But also do not buy caps that use too hard plastic. Some people may find the increased hardness an advantage, but this is not true. In fact, a high degree of hardness shows an important disadvantage of plastic in the form of increased fragility. This means that even with minor impacts and mechanical influences, the plastic overlay on top of the wheel disc can crack and crumble. The same will happen when road debris, small stones, and rubble get into the cap. Gradually, the surface will become covered with small chips and cracks. The set will have to be replaced completely. Similarly bad choice will be a cap made of excessively soft plastic. Increased plasticity and elasticity makes such products fly out of their seats when driving over bumps, and small pits. Fastening feet will not be able to effectively hold the design on the wheel, thereby significantly increasing the likelihood of losing the hubcap while driving. Read also, features of choosing a subwoofer in the car. Plastic with a medium degree of hardness is the best choice. It is not difficult to check the quality of the material with your own hands. A small experiment can be performed by yourself, being in a store and choosing a set among a wide range of presented assortment. You just need to manually test the strength of one of the presser feet. Try to bend it with your fingers. If there is immediate movement, even with a small amount of force, the plastic is too soft. If the presser foot does not shift in any way with a lot of force and remains stationary, the plastic is too hard. Many manufacturers specify what kind of plastic they use to make decorative products for car wheels. Here the most preferable is considered to be German and Polish plastic. Slightly less qualitative are Korean and Taiwanese plastic. The materials demonstrate excellent resistance to wear and are not afraid of contact with aggressive substances. The next point of selection is the shape of the future hubcaps for your vehicle. Specialists and experienced motorists who have extensive experience in the use of hubcaps advise to choose designs with a slightly convex shape. They look much more spectacular and attractive, plus it will be more problematic to damage them in contact with curbs. After all, due to the small convexity, they do not extend much beyond the wheel, thus the risks of damage are minimal. Bolt fastening is considered to be more reliable than the use of latches. But it is important to take into account that the axes of fastening on the wheel disc itself coincide with the holes on the decorative product. Otherwise, you simply will not be able to correctly install the hubcap on your car. An impressive share of the offered sets comes exactly with snaps as elements of fixation. If you have correctly taken into account the dimensions and selected the appropriate strength of plastic, such structures should not fly off. However, it is recommended to supplement the fixation with inconspicuous clamps or special hooks for reliability. Alternatively, opt for bolted caps, selecting the exact hole ratio. Bolted connections take longer to install, but they are also more difficult to remove. This is an additional measure of protection against vandals and hooligans, who quite often play around and remove hubcaps from cars. Some do it purely for profit, others are engaged in banal hooliganism. If you still prefer hubcaps with latches, pay attention to the number of locks. It is optimal to buy a set of wheel hubcaps, where the perimeter of the product is used at least 6 latches. The more latches, the better and more reliable the connection will be. Mounting and dismounting. It is also worth telling more about the peculiarities of mounting and dismounting wheel covers. In terms of mounting and dismounting, it is much easier to work with products with clips. In the case of them, there is no need to lift the wheels of the car alternately on the jack, unscrew the bolts on the wheel, press the hubcaps, put in place the bolts and tighten. To dismantle the hubcap, held with a set of bolts, you will need to proceed in reverse order. This takes quite a lot of time and effort, requires additional availability of a jack and obligatory observance of basic safety rules when jacking up the car. It is much easier to work with caps that use clips with clamping feet instead of bolts. The installation and removal process can be described as follows. The surface of the disc is thoroughly cleaned of accumulated dust. The rim of the hubcap, which is made of strong wire, is always provided with a small technological bend. This technological bend is provided specifically for installing the nipple of the slope necessary for connecting a pump or car compressor when installing the product on the latches. Make sure that the nipple fits into this technological hole. Then the element should be carefully centered. On the disc, applying light blows with your hands all around the perimeter, starting from one point and moving in a circle. The cap is put on the disc. Carefully measure the force of the blow so as not to damage the plastic. Clockwise or counterclockwise is not essential when inserting the hubcap. After assembly is complete, make sure that there are no gaps anywhere and that the element fits snugly on the wheel surface. It is additionally recommended to use tightening clamps made of plastic to increase the reliability and safety of fixation. Clamps should not be underestimated. They are able to independently hold the hubcap even in situations where it has come off all of its main fasteners. This is a guarantee that you will not lose any of the elements of decor in the process of traveling on your car. Only try to choose the most inconspicuous and place it in a place that does not spoil the appearance of car wheels. The most correct solution is to buy a clamp exactly under the color of the purchased set of wheel covers. As for the dismantling procedure, everything is also very simple. The elements are removed by cutting the clamps beforehand, as most of them are disposable. If the clamps were not used, or you have already removed them, grab the ventilation holes with your hands, and then pull the structure towards yourself. This is how the cap will come out of the clamp. In some cases, fixing feet and clips can break, but usually this indicates poor quality plastic, its increased fragility, or banal wear and tear elements. However, over time, when exposed to cold, heat, and temperature differences, plastic can become less durable, lose its elasticity, and crumble. When buying a set of hubcaps for car discs, you should not expect a very long service life. These are quite cheap products that can serve for several years with proper care and careful attitude. In conclusion, wheel covers are an essential accessory that not only enhances the aesthetic appeal of your vehicle, but also provides protection for your wheels. When choosing the right wheel covers, consider factors such as size, material, design, and your specific driving needs. By taking the time to select the perfect wheel covers, you can ensure both style and functionality for your vehicle. Thank you for watching, and we hope this guide helps you make an informed decision on your next wheel cover purchase.